What is going on, guys? It's Super here and welcome to another Injustice 2 video. Now today I'm going to be covering the top 5 reasons why Injustice 2 is so much better than the first Injustice game. So one of the biggest questions that I get, because I did get into the beta for Injustice 2, was how does it feel? Does it feel exactly the same as Injustice 1? Does it feel better? What are the differences? So I'm here to break down the differences between both games. So if you guys do enjoy the Injustice content, make sure you guys leave a like, rating on the video. It's always appreciated. Now let's go into a fact that is out there that a lot of people might not know about. If you do, you know, obviously you've been keeping up, but for you guys who don't know, Injustice 2 is a legacy title, meaning that it's retaining the same mechanics, the same feel to the game as the first Injustice game. So just want to throw that out the way. Basically, Injustice 2 will feel like Injustice 1, but there are things that make the game way better than the first game, so I'll break them down to you guys right now. These are in no particular order. It's mostly just the order that I listed these, topics on. So number 1, the gear system. Now the gear system brings a whole lot of variety to Injustice 2 compared to the first Injustice game, and even compared to the other NetherRealm titles like Mortal Kombat 9 and Mortal Kombat X. Because what we had in those games were basic costumes and an option between 2 colors. The regular color, and if you press start on the specific costume, you got the alternate version of the color in case someone picked the same character as you did. You have to have 2, color palettes for those characters. So with the gear system now in Injustice 2, it allows you not only to customize the look of your character, but it gives you a whole new color palette for your characters. So they have predetermined color palette. It's not like you get to pick your gloves to be yellow, and then you get to pick your pants to be red, and then your mask to be green. You're not gonna have like a choice that deep. It's pretty much color palettes that they choose that they think match the specific character. So for example, Swamp Thing, you're not gonna have like like bright red Swamp Thing or a yellow Swamp Thing. It's just gonna be like different shades of green and colors that would make sense for a character like Swamp Thing. But the fact that you get to play around with the way your character looks, and it's not defined by let's just say a costume and 2 colors, makes it a huge improvement. And I hope this continues moving forward to future NetherRealm games. Moving on to number 2. Now this one is gameplay wise. The walk speed in Injustice 2 is so much better. And if you guys never played the first Injustice game, let me just tell you guys, if you don't dash back and forth, if you don't backdash, if you don't forward dash, it feels like you're playing on mud or quicksand is a better example. You just feel like you're in the same spot and barely moving, because the characters' walk speeds in the first Injustice game were just so bad. And now in Injustice 2, it feels fluid. It feels just like Mortal Kombat X walk speed, so you're going to be able to hop right from Mortal Kombat X and feel right at home as far as the neutral that you're playing versus your opponent when you're walking back and forth. It feels great, especially with moves like Superman's Forward 2. Excellent. Having the ability to have a faster walk speed, meaning you could shimmy your opponent a lot better. If you walk forward, you walk slightly back, and you don't feel like you're in the same place if you're trying to walk back. Perfect for shimmying. Number 3, a bigger roster than any NetherRealm title before, meaning a bigger roster than Mortal Kombat 9, a bigger roster than Mortal Kombat X, and of course a bigger roster than Injustice 1. Now, I think Mortal Kombat X had a total of 39 characters, and just as the base game's launch, I think Injustice 2 will probably launch with 31 characters, 30 base characters, and then Darkseid as a pre-order bonus. And then there is already 9 confirmed DLC characters to push that up to a total of 40. There might even be more in the future. Who knows? We barely even know. We barely scratched the surface on what we know about Injustice 2. Like, there's a lot of things that we still don't know about the game. So I'm looking forward to all that. But you know, having the biggest roster in any NetherRealm game is going to be awesome, especially with the variety that they could bring. They could have a lot of fan favorite characters. They could have some obscure characters. With all these 9 DLC characters, it's going to be awesome. So moving on to number 4. Now this one is huge. This one is huge because it's something that was one of the most annoying things in the first Injustice game. And I think you could all agree that having interactables that were unblockable was a nightmare. There was nothing worse than playing versus someone using a character that is a zoning character standing next to the pig in I think it was like the Joker's lair, and having them just zone you out, and then you try to get close, they throw the pig interactable at you. It did like 20% damage and you could not block it. And there was just so many interactables that were that annoying in the first Injustice game that you couldn't block because they were unblockable. That is now changed in Injustice 2. Now, there are some interactables that are unblockable, but for the most part, you could block all the interactables that people would normally use. For example, like this trash can that is right next to me as I'm using Superman right there, you could actually block that interactable, but the car behind Batman is actually unblockable. So like the power characters, if they're able to lift that car up, they hit you with it, and if you're trying to block it, you're gonna take the damage. So having blockable, for the most part, blockable interactables is just a huge game changer. So that's definitely a huge positive in my opinion. Moving on to number 5. Now this one is a 2-for-1, but this is actually one of the biggest changes mechanically in the game, and it's something that I really need to use more as a player. So I'm kind of conditioned, coming from Mortal Kombat X primarily, to just play the game normally. But with these 2 options that they implemented for Injustice 2, it actually changes, you know, it changes the game a lot. And of course, I'm talking about the meter burn roll and the meter burn rollout, I guess I'm gonna call it. I think that's what it's called. So what they implemented in Injustice 2 is, let's just go back to the first Injustice game, right? So one of the biggest characters that people complained about was Deathstroke. If you were playing versus someone using Deathstroke and all they did was try to zone you out with guns, and they literally did not know one single combo, they didn't know what frame data was, they don't know anything about the character, all they know is that they could spam these guns, and you had to just crouch, walk forward, crouch, walk forward, crouch, walk forward. And that's how you would try to get in on Deathstroke. Not only that, with unblockable interactables, sometimes, you know, if you would get hit by one of those, oh, guess what? You're back at full screen. So they sort of gave tools to, you know, characters that might struggle with that, especially if you're using a character with no projectile. For example, like Black Canary. She actually sometimes has a hard time getting in on characters that have really good zoning. The same thing with Batman. Even though he has this trait, there's a lot of times where he still struggles to get in on characters like Superman and Supergirl, who have excellent zoning. So this meter burn dash is, for the cost of 2 bars of meter, you actually dash, or I should say like roll, maybe 3/4 length of the screen. Now, I don't think I have any footage of it here. I'll probably look for some, but I didn't really use it a lot. Like I mentioned, I didn't really use these 2 tools that they provide for us in this game because I'm still like new to the whole Injustice mechanic, and add these 2 new moves that give defense and offense more options, because there's a lot of times where if you have, for example, Batman has his bats that go around him, you call your bats, you dash forward, you do a meter burn dash, and you land on the other side of your opponent while the bats are coming behind your opponent, so it creates a hard to block situation. So it gives both defense and offensive players, you know, a great option. So the meter burn dash is really good, and now the meter burn rollouts. So what this is pretty much a way for you to be able to get out of a combo without having to clash. And that is huge in a game like Injustice, where you only get one clash, and if you clash at the wrong time, it's even going to do damage on you. So if you clash and your opponent has more meter and he chooses to spend it all, he's actually going to do damage on you even though you clashed. So the meter burn rollout is a way to spend 2 bars of meter and roll out of a combo. The only downside to this, of course, you know, it can be like too good, because if it was insanely good, it would be done over and over and over again. So the counter to that is you could only meter burn rollout backwards and upwards. So that means if you meter burn rollout at the wrong time and the opponent is still continuing his combo and you fall into his combo again, guess what? You're gonna continue to get hit and continue to get comboed. So that was definitely a smart way for them to not make it too overpowered, because imagine that meter burn rollout. Imagine I'm doing a combo on you and you can meter burn rollout at any direction you want. So you meter burn rollout behind me, I continue my combo string, and you're able to full combo punish me. So that was definitely a great choice by NetherRealm to make it only be able to meter burn rollout behind, like meter burn rollout backwards or upwards. That way you have to make the right read to actually get out of the combo. But that is a very powerful tool regardless, because like I mentioned, in Injustice 2 you could only clash once. So it gives you an option to clash in the first round. By the way, you can't clash in the first round in Injustice 2. It has to be the second round, or it has to be your second life bar. So it gives you a way to get out of a crucial hard-hitting combo in the first round at a cost of 2 meters, or if you already clashed, or if you don't want to clash, it gives you an option to spend the 2 bars to get out of that specific combo. So those are the 5 like new things added into Injustice 2 that make it so much better and completely different from the first Injustice game. Pretty much look at it this way: Injustice 2 is a more refined version of Injustice 1. So if you like the game, if you like Injustice 1, you're absolutely going to love the way Injustice 2 plays. And if you didn't like Injustice 1, I still think you should give it a chance, because like I mentioned, it plays a lot faster, it feels better, and it looks a lot better. So last one here, I'll throw in a little bonus points, I guess, a number 6 reason, or a little bonus one here: the intro dialogues. That is right, the intro dialogues are carrying over from Mortal Kombat X, and it is such a cool addition to Injustice, because you know, these characters have so many different iterations of them, and they could even throw back, or you know, they could make intro dialogues that reference comic books going way back, you know, current story modes, just anything. And there's so many cool characters. I can't wait to see what kind of interactions the Joker is gonna have with characters like Batman. You know, it's gonna be fucking awesome. So definitely intro dialogues are one of the huge positives about this game. So that's gonna be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If I missed any of your like picks that make Injustice 2 a lot better than the first Injustice game, or changes that are noticeable in Injustice 2 compared to the first Injustice, let me know in the comment section. But that's gonna be it. I will catch you guys next time. What's going on, guys? It's Super here. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you guys subscribe or check out any of these videos linked at the top. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.